Hi, I'm Joyce Creiger, and this is ArtLink, conversations with artists, designers, art consultants, art lovers, and art collectors. My guest today is Leslie Saul. She is the owner of Leslie Saul and Associates in Cambridge, Mass, and in Miami, Florida. Leslie comes to us with years of experience in the design field. She has a degree in architecture, design, and fine arts. Welcome, Leslie.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. Thank you for coming today. Leslie, when you start with a new client, let's say it's not a bid situation, you're hired. Where do you start with them? Do you work with them individually, as a group? What do you talk about? How do you begin? Because I know you're the best at this.
I love the beginnings. I do feel that this is something I'm really gifted at, is the starting of things. And I'm always surprised when people have trouble starting, because that's easy for me. And if I have one idea, I have 100 ideas. And so I do, the space itself generates lots of ideas. But really what I love is learning about the people, because for me, architecture is not about the building as much as it is about the people. So how do you get to know who the people are, especially with the diverse clientele we have? So when it's a corporate client or a synagogue, I would say those two, and primarily, and sometimes academics, sometimes they don't want to deal with this, but we really start with some kind of a visioning session to sit down, and I have a whole technique of how we create this shared vision.
How does that work? That sounds, I mean, that's something I'd like you to share, because people are always interested in how you get this information out and how you move forward with it.
My experience is there are people like you and me who are not afraid to talk. And we can dominate a process that maybe allows people who are quieter, or doesn't allow people who are quieter to have a say, who might actually have brilliant ideas, but they're not going to interrupt us, whereas we're happy to interrupt each other. We have confidence, we're verbal, whatever. So I thought, how do I make sure that the non-verbal people who still have a lot going on in their heads share it with us as part of the group? And I came up with this idea that if everyone has to write things down, then whether you're quiet or noisy, you all get the same input into the process. I am a big proponent of commissioning art. I think that an artist's work may resonate with you, with the client, and it feels like it's the right match from a spiritual point of view, if I can use that word, or for whatever intuitive reason, it feels like the right thing. Yet the space that you have to display this art might be smaller, bigger, rounder, lit well, not lit well, you know, whatever the conditions of the architecture are that make the art that exists by that artist to be not appropriate. And the other thing I love is that when you commission an art, you can get the artist will come and look at your space and sometimes have a completely different location they want to put their piece. Artists sometimes have good ideas, whether the artist is right or wrong, at least it's a good discussion. And also, sometimes the artist is inspired by the architecture in a way that is different from the way I maybe look at things. I really loved the response to the award. I won the Entrepreneur of the Year from New England Women in Real Estate. And it's selected by your peers, so that's a fun thing. Maybe it was my turn, and maybe I didn't deserve it, but you're given 2 minutes to give a speech, of thank you speech. And I decided to talk about entrepreneurship as someone who wears a lot of hats, and I looked at my wardrobe. I don't have that many hats, and I tried to think, oh, I'll go to a vintage place. I wanted a prop. So I had decided I had to make my hats because I couldn't find the hats. So I went to Paper Source and bought all kinds of crazy colors and textures of paper and designed hats that I was putting on. And Gail Huff was the MC, and she would take the hat. She would just be so excited about this. So her enthusiasm and my props have had a resonance over the years that's unbelievable. I ran into someone, they go, I
You're the hat
remember
lady.
you. You had that amazing speech. I don't even know if they remember the hats, but they remember that it was an experience. In 2 minutes, you can do it. That same night, a woman gave 15-minute speech for her 2 minutes.
Oh, wow.
You don't need 15 minutes
To get your point across.
to get your point across. And life is good. Change is good. So, yes, I believe in classical architecture and modern architecture and postmodern architecture because change is good. It's okay, and let's be influenced by others. Let's look at Pinterest and Houzz as enemies, or let's look at them as opportunities to get educated and share ideas. And I don't feel like I have a lock on all the great ideas. I love when an engineer pipes up in a meeting with a great idea that, everyone, oh, engineers, they don't understand. But sometimes they do have great ideas, and everyone has good ideas. A homeowner, I don't want it to feel like it's so esoteric what I do that I don't want people to open up their mouths. I want to create an environment where everyone feels worthy of being part of the process.